In one of the most emotional and twisted storylines on The Young and the Restless, Johnny Abbott's discovery that Chelsea Lawson is his biological mother turns the lives of all the characters involved upside down. It's not just a shocking revelation, but it sets off a dramatic chain of events as family relationships fray and complex emotions begin to surface. When Johnny learns that Chelsea is his biological mother, his reaction is not rejection or fear, but curiosity and excitement. Chelsea, who gave up her parental rights years ago by letting Victoria and Billy Abbott adopt Johnny, can't help but feel emotional about getting a second chance at being his mother. For Chelsea, moving to the farm and being closer to Johnny is a way to make up for lost years. However, it's not good news for Victoria Newman. She loved Johnny as her own son and had a deep bond with him since he was a child. Chelsea's presence and her growing affection for Johnny made Victoria feel threatened. Although she tried to act calm, her jealousy and hurt grew. Johnny quickly bonded with Chelsea and his real brother, Connor Newman. The two boys found something in common with each other that Johnny could not share with anyone else. Connor, with his strong but sometimes sensitive personality, quickly became an important companion for Johnny. Every time Johnny spent time with Connor, it meant he was getting closer to Chelsea. Victoria couldn't stand the sight of Johnny showing excitement about meeting Chelsea. She felt like she was losing her place as a mother in his heart. Victoria's worries weren't entirely unfounded. Johnny has begun to spend more time with Chelsea, and the natural bond between mother and son has grown stronger. Victoria tries to intervene tactfully, but her efforts seem to only make things worse. Chelsea doesn't mean to hurt Victoria, she just wants a chance to get to know her real son. But Chelsea's presence in Johnny's life, combined with their newfound bond, inadvertently pushes Victoria into a state of despair and insecurity. Victoria is increasingly haunted by the thought that she is losing Johnny. She feels the distance between her and him growing, especially when Johnny starts to talk about the happy times he had with Chelsea and Connor. Johnny's anecdotes, smiles, and excited looks when talking about Chelsea make Victoria feel left out. Victoria's jealousy and hurt not only affects her relationship with Johnny, but also shakes her relationship with Billy Abbott. Billy, who is caught between the two most important women in Johnny's life, doesn't know what to do about the situation. He wants to protect Victoria from pain, but at the same time understands that Chelsea deserves a chance at motherhood. Chelsea and her desire for a second chance. Chelsea has no intention of hurting Victoria or taking away her role as a mother. For Chelsea, being close to Johnny is a precious gift that she never thought she would have. She understands that Johnny already has a loving family, but that doesn't diminish her desire to be his mother. Chelsea's patience and sincerity gradually win Johnny's trust. He doesn't see Chelsea as a replacement for Victoria, but as an addition to his life. However, for Victoria, Johnny's growing attachment to Chelsea is a wound that can't be healed. The big question is whether Victoria will let Johnny continue to be close to Chelsea and Connor. If she tries to interfere with this relationship, it could pressure Johnny and push him further away. On the other hand, if she lets things go their natural course, will she risk losing an important place in Johnny's heart? Billy also faces a difficult choice. He must balance between supporting Victoria, protecting her feelings, and respecting Chelsea's rights as Johnny's biological mother. Billy's decision will have a big impact on how things continue. The Young and the Restless is building a storyline full of emotions and internal conflicts. The complex psychology of the characters makes it impossible for the audience to stop watching. Can Victoria accept Johnny's new relationship with Chelsea? Will Chelsea find a balance between being a mother and not hurting Victoria? And most importantly, how will Johnny react when everyone around him is caught up in the emotional whirlwind? Victoria Newman, a devoted and strong mother, takes pride in the strong bond she has with her son, Johnny Abbott. However, the peace in her life is shaken when Chelsea Lawson, Johnny's biological mother, enters his life. Johnny, with his outgoing and curious nature, quickly forms a natural bond with Chelsea, which Victoria feels threatened and insecure about. Not only that, Johnny also finds joy in spending time with his brother Connor Newman, Chelsea's biological son. The happy and close moments between Johnny, Connor, and Chelsea increase, making Victoria unable to stop thinking that she is gradually losing her special place in her son's heart. Chelsea, a second chance at motherhood. Chelsea did not enter Johnny's life to cause conflict. Instead, she wanted to mend her relationship with the boy, the son she had given up for adoption many years ago. Chelsea sees this as a second chance at motherhood, not to replace Victoria, but to create a natural relationship between the two. Johnny, with his youthful innocence, does not see the potential conflicts between the two women. He simply loves having a brother like Connor and feels comfortable with Chelsea, who seems to understand a part of him that he has never explored before. Victoria, jealousy and insecurity. The growing bond between Johnny and Chelsea becomes an obsession for Victoria. Every time Johnny talks about happy moments with Chelsea or Connor, she cannot hide her jealousy and anxiety. Although she knows that Chelsea has no intention of replacing her, Victoria still feels like she is gradually losing her irreplaceable role in Johnny's heart. Victoria's fear is not only about losing Johnny, but also about losing control in her own family. To her, Chelsea is not only a biological mother trying to reconnect with her son, but also an existential threat to the stability of the family life she has built. Johnny, joy and crack. Johnny, on the other hand, does not sense the tension between Victoria and Chelsea. He is happy to share time with Connor and Chelsea. He sees Chelsea not as a replacement for Victoria, but as a new piece of the puzzle in his life. However, Johnny's relationship with Victoria begins to experience small cracks when he senses his mother's controlling and negative attitude whenever she mentions Chelsea or Connor. If Victoria does not adjust her actions soon, he may inadvertently push her away, causing irreparable damage to their mother-son relationship. Victoria faces a tough choice. Victoria faces a big decision. Will she try to keep Johnny from seeing Chelsea and Connor to keep him close to her, or will she learn to accept that the relationship does not diminish her value in Johnny's eyes? Trying to control Johnny by keeping him away from Chelsea and Connor may work in the short term, but the long-term consequences could be a permanent separation between mother and son. Johnny, with his sensitivity and desire for freedom, may feel hurt and forced if Victoria tries to impose her wishes. Chelsea, finding a way to accommodate. Chelsea, while understanding Victoria's insecurities, continues to try to keep enough distance so as not to put too much pressure on her. She doesn't want to push Victoria into a corner or hurt her, but at the same time, she doesn't want to give up on Johnny. Chelsea's patience and conciliatory attitude may be the key to resolving this conflict. However, much depends on Victoria's willingness to open her heart to accept the fact that Chelsea is not a rival, but an important addition to Johnny's life. Will Victoria realize in time that she is unintentionally pushing Johnny away by trying to prevent him from seeing Chelsea and Connor? How long will Chelsea be patient before deciding to protect her parental rights, despite Victoria's objections? How will Johnny react if the conflict between Victoria and Chelsea continues to escalate? Family stories always bring complex and intertwined emotions. This plot is not simply about the conflict between Victoria and Chelsea, but also the journey for each character to learn to deal with difficult emotions and find balance in the relationship. The story of Victoria, Chelsea, Johnny, and Connor will continue to keep the audience following every step, not only to find answers, but also to feel the true emotions in their complicated lives. Family is a place of love, but it is also a place where complex conflicts can arise, especially when love, jealousy, and deep emotions collide. On The Young and the Restless, the relationship between Victoria Newman, Chelsea Lawson, and Johnny Abbott unfolds a story filled with emotion, tension, and difficult choices. The beginning of conflict. Victoria Newman has always been a devoted mother, raising Johnny Abbott with unparalleled love and care. Although adopted, Johnny has never felt deprived. Everything in his life seems complete, until the appearance of Chelsea Lawson, Johnny's biological mother, changes everything. Chelsea did not come to cause chaos, but her appearance unintentionally stirred up deep insecurities in Victoria. Chelsea had given up her parental rights years before deciding to let Billy Abbott and Victoria adopt Johnny. But now she feels it's time to build a relationship with her own son, not to reclaim her motherly role from Victoria, but to get to know and befriend Johnny. For Chelsea, this is a second chance that she doesn't want to miss, especially since Johnny is now an adult and can make his own decisions. Johnny and Connor, a budding sibling relationship. Complicating matters is the relationship between Johnny and Chelsea's son, Connor Newman. The two boys quickly form a close friendship, based on curiosity, empathy, and the joy of being together. Johnny finds in Connor the brother he never had, and this excites him immensely. However, every time Johnny spends time with Connor, he also spends time with Chelsea. The three of them have meaningful moments together, hanging out, sharing stories, and gradually building a natural bond. This makes Victoria feel like she is being pushed out of her son's life. Victoria and her growing insecurity. Victoria is a strong and determined woman, but the change in her relationship with Johnny leaves her in a state of insecurity. Despite her best efforts to hide it, Victoria cannot stop the feelings of jealousy that arise every time she sees Johnny happily talking about Chelsea or Connor. She feels like she is losing her irreplaceable place in Johnny's heart. These feelings go beyond fear. Victoria begins to feel threatened by Chelsea's presence, whom she perceives as invading her role. Although she knows Chelsea has no intention of replacing her, Victoria cannot help but feel like she is struggling to maintain the most important position in Johnny's life. Victoria's jealousy affects not only her relationship with Johnny, but also her relationship with Billy Abbott, Johnny's biological father. Billy notices the growing tension between Victoria and Chelsea, but feels powerless to calm the situation. Chelsea, longing to be a mother again. Chelsea, on the other hand, has no intention of hurting Victoria or damaging Victoria's relationship with Johnny. She simply wants to get to know her biological son and have a chance to build a relationship that she abandoned years ago. Chelsea sees this as a valuable opportunity to make up for what she lost, but she also understands that this must be done carefully. Chelsea respects Victoria and her role in Johnny's life, but she also does not want to give up her right to be friends with her son. Chelsea's patience and gentle approach may make her an indispensable part of Johnny's life, but it also increases Victoria's jealousy and tension. Johnny, between two worlds. Johnny, although a sensitive and intelligent boy, is not able to fully grasp the complexity of the situation. For him, having a mother like Chelsea and a brother like Connor is wonderful. Johnny doesn't see Chelsea as a replacement for Victoria, but as a friend, a special companion in life. However, he can't help but notice Victoria's discomfort whenever he talks about Chelsea or Connor. This puts Johnny in a difficult position. He doesn't want to hurt Victoria, but he also doesn't want to give up on his relationships with Chelsea and Connor. If this tension continues, Johnny may feel pressured and gradually distance himself from both important women in his life. Victoria Newman has always been known for her strength and determination. However, recent events have put her in a difficult situation when her life is not only disrupted by the dangers of Jordan Howard but also by the complicated relationship between her son, Johnny Abbott, and his biological mother, Chelsea Lawson. From chaos, family tensions, to important decisions, Victoria's storyline promises to bring dramatic conflicts and emotions. Jordan Howard is dealt with, the mess and Victor Newman's intervention. When the threat from Jordan Howard reaches its peak, Victor Newman, who always protects his family at all costs, quickly takes action. Jordan's actions not only affect Victoria, but also put Nikki and Claire Newman in danger. As the most powerful man in Genoa City, Victor does not let this threat last long. Victor uses all his power and connections to remove Jordan from the family's life. Meanwhile, Victoria, despite knowing that her father would clean up after her, is still affected by the stress and fatigue of these events. The threat of Jordan has been eliminated, but the consequences, especially psychological, have left deep scars on Victoria. Chelsea and Johnny, a challenging relationship. Just as Victoria is relieved of Jordan, another concern arises. Chelsea Lawson, Johnny's biological mother, has decided to move to the farm to be closer to her son. Chelsea's attempt to rebuild her relationship with Johnny is not what Victoria wants. Although Chelsea has no intention of replacing Victoria as a mother, to Victoria, Chelsea's presence is like a potential threat. Johnny, on the other hand, seems to enjoy having Chelsea and her brother Connor Newman around. The boy begins to spend more time with Chelsea and Connor, which makes Victoria feel marginalized in her own relationship with her son. Victoria can't stand the fact that Johnny seems to find comfort and joy with Chelsea, something she feels she deserves to give him. Every time Johnny mentions Chelsea and Connor with joy on his face, Victoria's heart feels like it's being squeezed. The big question is whether Victoria realizes that Chelsea doesn't want to replace her, but simply wants to be Johnny's friend. Victoria's feelings of jealousy and hurt blind her to the situation. Every action Chelsea makes, no matter how harmless, is misinterpreted by Victoria as an attempt to gain Johnny's affection. Billy Abbott, Johnny's father, notices this tension and tries to ease the situation. Billy understands Chelsea's desire to be close to her son, but also understands Victoria's pain and insecurity. However, all of Billy's advice fails to calm Victoria's simmering anger. In her efforts to protect her relationship with Johnny, Victoria may inadvertently create a larger rift. Her uncontrolled words, actions, or attempts to keep Johnny from interacting with Chelsea may make him feel oppressed. Johnny, even at a young age, understands the tension between people he loves. If Victoria continues to act on her emotions, she may push Johnny further away, creating an opportunity for Chelsea and Connor to bond more closely with him. Victoria must not only deal with her fear of losing Johnny, but also with her own insecurities and feelings of being threatened by Chelsea. The question is whether she has the courage to admit these feelings and find a way to reconcile, or will anger and jealousy control her actions? Chelsea doesn't want to create conflict. She just wants a chance to make up for the years she spent apart from Johnny. For Chelsea, getting close to Johnny is not about replacing Victoria, but about finding a part of herself that is missing. She understands that Victoria is an indispensable part of Johnny's life, and she herself does not want to hurt Victoria. However, Victoria's reactions can make Chelsea feel unfairly accused. Although she tries to keep her distance and act carefully, the tension from Victoria cannot be ignored. The question is whether Chelsea will be patient enough to continue building a relationship with Johnny, or will she decide to step back to avoid hurting Victoria? This storyline is not only about the conflict between Victoria and Chelsea, but also about love, forgiveness, and the ability to overcome negative emotions to do what is best for the family. On The Young and the Restless, stories like this always bring empathy and deep emotions to the audience, as they see themselves in the complex and real characters. Victoria faces a difficult choice. Will she continue to try to control Johnny, preventing him from spending time with Chelsea and Connor, or will she learn to accept Chelsea's presence in Johnny's life? If Victoria chooses to be controlling, she may make Johnny feel constrained and overbearing, which could lead to an irreparable rift. On the other hand, if she learns to accept and allow Johnny to develop a relationship with Chelsea, she can maintain her son's trust and love. Billy Abbott also faces difficult decisions. He wants to protect Victoria, but at the same time understands that Chelsea deserves a chance at motherhood. Will Billy act as a mediator, or will he be drawn into the vortex of tension between Victoria and Chelsea? The story of Victoria, Chelsea, Johnny, and Connor is a classic example of the complexities of family relationships. This is not just a battle of jealousy, but also a journey for each character to learn to face their emotions, find balance, and put Johnny's interests first. Can Victoria overcome her insecurities to accept Chelsea as a part of Johnny's life? Can Chelsea maintain patience to build a relationship with her biological son without hurting Victoria? And finally, how will Johnny choose to maintain the balance between the two mothers he loves the most? These questions promise to bring dramatic and emotional episodes on The Young and the Restless, where viewers will not stop watching to find the answers.